Boxing. I'm your host, Raider Live, with you another week for boxing analysis from our panel of experts. These three guys around me right here. My first expert, of course, the one, the only. We're here, by the way, after a week off. I should have mentioned that, but you probably already knew that. But there's Filthy Rich looking fresh after his week off vacation. Filthy Rich, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. The Lakers just sewn up that 7th seed, and Corey Kluber threw a no-hitter for the Yanks. Go Lakers, go Yankees.
And who hit that game-winning shot for the Lakers?
Got a rise.
Yours truly. Right behind me.
That's what I thought. All right, and our other major host that's been here for longest is Judge Jimmy James. Judge, court is in session. How you doing, buddy?
Good. I feel spry.
All right. Well, I already have to put you on mute right away because we can't use words that Bach does not understand. That's a rule that we all agreed to. So, and our final guest here, our final expert is better than Machine and his pants. He's the one, the only, the Bach. How are you, Bach?
I'm good. How's everyone doing? Missed you guys for a week.
I'm the one that asks how everyone's doing now. You're going on.
Hey,
man, we're just firing off the mutes here, right, left, and right. I'm the one that asks people how they're doing. Good job, Rich, for knowing who's in charge of the show here for the host purpose.
You didn't even unmute, or you didn't even mute Rich for all the LeBron, Lakers, and the James.
Because I asked him the question about LeBron. So when I ask him the question about LeBron,
mute me again.
I might
Do it.
All right. I don't back down. I don't back down. All right. Rich, since these two guys are on mute, are you ready for Brews and News?
Bring it on and ring that bell.
All right. Bach, there you go. Brews and News, where we talk about all the news of the week. We don't have a lot of news this week because we have Brews and Reviews, Brews and Previews, and Brews and Tributes coming up. So it's a jam-packed show. But as you can see here, our Brews and News is all about talking about this the top of the heavyweight division, which once again just got a wrench thrown in the works. I guess Fury Joshua, after being wait a minute, I just got a notice from Canada, from Labatt Blue, that I forgot on my own show, that the first thing we do is crack a beer. And even, well, to be fair, Bach stole all my champagne. So, gentlemen, I screwed that one up. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh God, I love it when I screw things up.
I'm drinking a little Natter Days just for Bach.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I'll tell you, Bach has started. Bach's drinking the beer I left in his truck, and he's never had as good a beer in his life as he's drinking right now. He's drinking the champagne. Hey. But anyway, the heavyweight division,
best.
The heavyweight division got thrown a wrench in the top as usual. After we've been talking for weeks that Fury Joshua is on, they're paying the Prince of Saudi Arabia to fight there, and they're getting all this money. Wilder wins a arbitrary agreement and gets to fight Fury first. And so we'll talk about that first, because it says they just agreed, according to ESPN, that they agreed to fight in July. They want to get it done fast, get it done. Well, Fury wants it done fast. I personally think this is a terrible move by Wilder. I think he should have just waited and taken the champion of Fury and Joshua and taken all the belts instead and taken a payday. But what do I know? I don't know anything. Bach, what do you know about this?
Well, it's legal stuff that I really don't understand, but legally,
the one judge on this panel that should understand legal stuff is you.
Hey, I'm just a victim of it.
Person of interest is not.
I'm just saying it's a legal thing, so it was going to have to happen at some point. I wish it would have happened already, so it didn't interfere with Joshua Fury, because that's a fight we all had wanted to see. Yeah. Do I want to see Wilder Fury fight also? Yes. It's legal stuff, man. It's beyond me. I'll never truly understand all the legal stuff that goes on in boxing and this and that. I just wish that the fight would have happened previous to this, and all that legal stuff would have gone over before this, and not waited till the announcement of like a huge fight over in England, and have that get interfered, or Saudi Arabia, wherever. One of the biggest fights you can make in heavyweight history, dang near. And
oh, sorry.
Like, I mean, are we going to get good fights out of it? Yes, because I don't want to talk about the next thing with Joshua and who he's going to fight.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but I know, Judge, I think you and me have talked about this a few times. I don't think Fury and Wilder is a very good fight to have now, especially now. They kind of just keep hanging us on here, and it feels like even though this is agreed to for late July, that this is probably going to get backed up again too. They'll find an excuse saying, well, we didn't have time to train or some crap like this, and they'll get backed up and we'll never get a fight until 2025 or something like this. But what do you think about this Fury Wilder 3? Are you excited for it? Are you paying for it so we can come over and watch it? What's going to happen?
It's just unfortunate that the ruling was made now. I don't think it's going to get pushed back, honestly. I've definitely seen training videos of Wilder picking up like a giant piece of wood and bench pressing it like so he seems like he's ready, man. I mean, that's, it wasn't like in the snow like Rocky was against Drago, but he's been training. Obviously Fury's been training to fight Joshua, so I don't think that's going to be a big, or I mean, Fury's been training to fight Joshua, so I don't think it's going to get postponed. It just sucks because that's not the fight that we want to see. Not the fight that I want to see either. We don't even know what Wilder is going to show up. Is he going to be wearing 48 pounds of more material or something coming out to the ring, or is he just going to be there for business? And I don't know. It's a bummer because if they really want to try to make the Joshua fight too with Fury, after that, it's going to be a very short time frame. Like you're talking like a couple months, take 2 months later after that. So I don't know. I'm not really excited for it. It's kind of a bummer for me anyway. But what I read,
the new plan would be the Joshua fight would happen in December after this July fight, 6 months later. But Filthy Rich, before I get to you, I just wanted to touch on something that James said there, because he asked what kind of Wilder will we see in Bach. You were showing me the other night about the head movement that Wilder is showing in his new training videos. I just wanted to give you a chance to spout on that before I turn it over to Filthy Rich here.
Oh, I believe, and I could be wrong, I think Malik Scott is training him right now.
Correct.
That is right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know it's only a training video and they can put what they want to put on there to show if it's good, but it looks like he's been working on head movement, slipping punches, and working on some counter punching ability, which he's never shown to have before.
And he's smaller too. I thought he looked a lot more
He looks in
cut and a lot of skinnier than he did in the
He looks in great
fight.
shape. He really does.
Filthy Rich, I think you might agree with me, maybe not, he should have just tried to take the money and taken the winner of Joshua and Fury and gone for all the belts instead of just one belt. But I know you don't care about belts either. So what do you think about this arbitrary ruling that jumped in on us?
Well, for one, I sort of tend to agree with you. Like, there's the good and the bad about right now. Should he have just waited for the winner? I mean, yeah, probably. I can't knock him for this though either. We also don't know the contract that was signed. The judge is making not our judge, but the arbitrator who made this had to have looked over that contract, and it must have stated an immediate rematch, probably by a certain time, which is why whoever, I hate using that word judge because only we have a judge, but
we only have the good judge.
We have the good judge. We have the non-corrupt judge. But I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You can't buy me.
I don't know the terms of this, the contract. So it'd be nice if we can get a hold of it somehow and look over it to see if it does say immediate rematch. So that's the only way I think a judge would rule in Wilder's favor. Now, all that being said, as far as like Malik Scott being the new trainer for Wilder, I'm not a big fan of Malik Scott's fights, I guess you could say. He had a fight with Luis Ortiz a few years back that had to be one of the most boring fights I've ever watched in my life. The dude does not, it's not about cutting off the ring, but he just kind of ran away from Ortiz the entire fight. So I don't know how Wilder decided he was going to train with Malik Scott. Now, when it comes to the question, are we excited for it? Had Wilder picked a good trainer, a new trainer, and it wasn't Malik Scott, even if it was like Eddie Reynoso or like somebody that's the hot name right now, maybe I would be excited for it. But he did not go that path. He went with Malik Scott. That decision alone, I don't care for this fight. I'm still going to watch it because we're junkies, but
yeah. And it's free over at Jim's house.
Right. Yeah. Well.
Jim's got that crack for us over there. Well, I'll tell you who this news is good for. It's probably the best news ever for Usyk, because Usyk is going to now move into that mandatory spot with, well, he already had the mandatory, but now Joshua has no excuses. He has no one to fight. That now he has to fight Usyk, and Usyk's got a pretty good payday coming up fighting this one. That's our second bit of news here. That Joshua, I don't see who else you would fight. I assume he's not going to just wait until December to fight Fury. I would imagine he would probably take his mandatory against Usyk, and if he didn't, he'd probably lose the belt or pay for it. James, what do you think about Usyk moving up to Joshua? I still think Joshua's too big for Usyk, but it's still a weird mandatory. But Usyk going to get paid. I think he's going to get that money.
This is what's interesting, because when we're filming the show on the 20th, they actually have the committee, the WBO committee has, what is it? I don't know if it's Fury or no, Joshua. Joshua has 48 hours. Obviously, with the news that just broke, it's probably not going to be the case, but 48 hours to show cause that fight is happening. Otherwise, they're going to rule that you have to fight Usyk tomorrow, so on Friday. So it's I don't know, man. It's weird that Usyk is the mandatory, given his resume at the heavyweight division right now. But I mean,
You gotta get paid though.
We'll see. All right, because the only thing, and this might just be a payday for Usyk, which is kind of a bummer, because his response to Eddie Hearn was straight. I don't know if he did it on, I think he did it on Instagram, was just, "Hi Eddie, I want money, more money." That's it. That's all he said. So honestly,
apparently him and Canelo have the same English teacher.
But that doesn't make me excited for a fight. That means he's just looking for a payday, and that's not what we need, man. We need people who are going to step up, like back in the 80s, who just want to fight each other because they want to fight each other, not this business schmizness stuff. So unfortunately, that's what it's looking like. But yeah, we'll see. We'll find out more tomorrow, probably when you're listening to this.
Well, Filthy Rich, you're a big Usyk guy. At least you were. What do you think about him moving up here? Is that a good fight for him? I still think Joshua's too big for him. Or do you think Joshua should? I mean, I think Joshua would be better off taking a fight with like a Luis Ortiz or something like that, some bigger guy that more Tyson Fury like. I mean, Usyk's nothing like Tyson Fury in the slightest, and you would want to prepare for Tyson Fury, I'd imagine, right?
I suppose there was a lot there.
Sorry.
I get
Unpack it all.
I can tell you this. Anthony Joshua is like the Canelo of the heavyweight division. The dude takes on all comers. And unfortunately, I feel like Usyk is a tune-up fight. I don't think Usyk is ready for Joshua. Just like James said, it looks like it's just a payday. It wouldn't surprise me if Usyk prices himself out, because I don't think Joshua is going to give up all this pay to fight what I consider a tune-up fight. Is there another guy out there for Joshua? Let's not even think about it right now. I think Joshua needs to protect himself. So protect his record. He's not going to want to fight like go through that same thing he had with Andy Ruiz, where it's a replacement fighter, surprise, you lose. So I think if Usyk is there, and I say the money is there where Usyk's not pricing himself out, I think he should take the Usyk fight because it's somewhat of a tune-up fight. He should be able to beat Usyk, protect himself, and the Joshua and Fury fight should happen shortly after. But I'm like, just like the Wilder Fury, I'm not too excited for Joshua and Usyk.
So you agree that he's just probably too big for him? That too big for Usyk? I guarantee Joshua doesn't want to fight Usyk because, again, it's nothing like Fury. You want a tune-up fight. You want to tune up with somebody that's like your big opponent, and he's the direct opposite of Fury.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Okay, good talk.
Oh, man. Your opinion, bud.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. Bach, what do you think about this? Do you think after Fury and Wilder and Joshua and Usyk they're both going to Fury's going to win, Joshua's going to win. They're still going to be able to meet in December for the undisputed
Yeah,
title.
well, that's the thing. You're only assuming that these guys are getting those victories. It's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. They could go and fight. Wilder could end up beating Fury. You know what? Usyk, or something could happen, and maybe not even necessarily win. Maybe we get a nasty cut that prolongs the next fight, and it just there's so many things that can go wrong to where Fury and Wilder or Fury and Joshua, their fights getting put in bad jeopardy, even with the fights. Like December, it might not ever happen then, even if they both win. Nasty cut happens. Health issues happen. All kinds of things happen. We wanted it now. Wish we could have. But heavyweight boxing, one punch can change the game. Wilder can land that one. Usyk could run around that ring and win on points. I mean, anything could happen. I don't see it either, but it's possible, though. It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. All right. Well, let's move on to Brews and Reviews here, gentlemen. You guys ready? Well, I'm just going to hit the bell anyway. Brews and Review, pardon me. Brews and Reviews. We got 2 fights that we're reviewing from when we took some time off there, and plus another fight we'll talk about in a minute. But first, we're going to start with Figueroa versus Nere. Richie, you were going to bring us up to speed about Brandon Figueroa and Luis Nere. My guy, Nere. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, had we done a prediction on this fight, had we not had a week off, I probably would have taken Nere to win this fight. He just seems like he has like just a boxing skill set more so than Figueroa. I think Figueroa hasn't really been tested, and I can't tell if Figueroa has power against the opponents he's fought. All that being said, before the fight even happened, they interviewed Brian Custer interviewed Stephen Fulton and asked him for predictions and things of that nature. And it was said both on Fulton's side and to Figueroa that Nere doesn't have the power to be at 122. And I was kind of skeptical. I didn't know where that was coming from. I don't know if Nere's already fought at 122, but he was pretty damn good at 118. So during this fight, I mean, this was blow for blow. These guys did not stop throwing punches. And that immediately told me that Brandon Figueroa is taking punches that aren't hurting him. I think Steve Farhood had Nere winning the fight by a few rounds. I think it ended in the 7th round. But again, I think he fought Brandon fought in the foam booth because Nere's punches just weren't effective. By the end of the day, Brandon Figueroa ended the fight. I believe it was a 7th round to the body, and that was all she wrote.
So you got to give Filthy Rich credit to the fans here. The fans got to give you credit that you didn't even make a public prediction on that, but you said I would have been wrong if I make that prediction. That's how you know that guy's got some. What's the word I'm looking for?
I'll drink to
Stones
that.
is one of them, but credibility. That's what I was looking for. Credibility is what I was looking for. Judge, what do you think is next for Nere and Figueroa? I hope Nere is still around because I love saying Nere.
Well, Nere ain't going anywhere, man. He's 26 years old. All right. Like he was, I also would have been the same way with Rich. I would have guessed that Nere would have won this. That's just crazy, but it is a testament, like what everyone was saying that Rich just touched on. What the experts were saying is that does that power translate up? And it's crazy to think only 4 pounds, but I just don't. I might have to agree. I mean, it could just be a fluke. But either way, it'll be tough for Nere to hang around at 122. There's no real big names that he could jump on that division. Be interesting to see if he does drop back down, because there are definitely a lot of names at 118.
A lot of money there,
like Inoue and Donaire and Ubali and Casemiro. I mean, even Rigondeaux. So like those are all big names in that division. And I could easily see Nere fighting one of those guys. Maybe not Inoue because he's got to bring something to the table, but Donaire, Ubali, Casemiro, or even Rigondeaux for sure. As far as Figueroa goes, well, you already touched about like that Stephen Fulton. as a possibility. He could also fight at 122 Daniel Roman, or another title holder who actually holds 2 belts. I don't really know how to say this guy's names, but Murodjon Akhmadaliev.
Woo!
I don't know how to say that, but yeah, that he's only like 9-0. He's super young, but holds the IBF and the WBA. So
Is he from England?
Yeah, he is English.
Is he English?
No, he's not English. He's Uzbekistanian. Come on. But that's probably what I see. I mean, if they're saying that Fulton's in the works, that I guess, but I don't know how big of a draw that would be for me personally. But probably one of those top 3 guys would be my guess.
Bach, what do you think about Figueroa and Nere future there? I mean, you were a big Nere guy a few times, I've heard, but I've also I could have swore you've talked good about Nere, but I know you've said good things about Figueroa in the past.
Well, that's why I see, if you want to come to the boxing elite, you come talk to me, because I put a bet on Mr. Figueroa as a big underdog, and I won money because, you know what, the brain's working. Neri has never been a guy on my radar ever, honestly.
Well, why was Figueroa on your record on your eyesight?
Because he reminds me of Leo Santa Cruz, volume punching. That's how he breaks people down.
Fair enough. Well, he broke him down in the 8th round this time. All right.
Right to the solar plexus.
Yeah, that's true. That don't feel good. I know. All right. Well, if you were watching the Canelo BJS fight, and tune into our pre-live show between me and Bach, that was a great pre-live show, and actually we had a lot of people tuning in, asking questions. Even you jumped in and asked some questions, which is nice. We had a lot of views for that. A lot of people. Thank you all very much. If you came into the post show, you saw a very, very inebriated 3 of us and a filthy rich that didn't want to be on camera because of it. So we're going to give our thoughts this time around, but this time we're all going to drink some water first because we want some sober thoughts this time, because we've already seen our. So you've seen our drunk thoughts. Now let's see our sober thoughts. And actually, I'm going to start with Filthy Rich this time because he was the one person that didn't come in on the show. He asked some questions, and then when we put the camera on him in post show, he's like, "Get it off me." And then James put it in his beard or whatever it was. We didn't know what we were looking at. I was like, "Hold on, it's YouTube. We can't do that." But Filthy Rich, what did you see in that fight? Because I'll tell you what I saw, but you already saw what I saw. I was pretty drunk. I was the soberest one on that show. Filthy Rich, what did you see?
Well, I'll tell you what you saw. You saw Travis. You didn't see me. I wasn't on there. So you were very out of it. That was not me on the show anywhere. I did post some comments and some thoughts and questions for the 2 of you pre-show and after show, but all that aside,
that was you standing by the fire and saying, "Don't put me on camera."
I never said don't put me on camera, but I don't know. Anyways, here's what I saw. I saw Billy Joe Saunders probably winning the fight. It was pretty close. I could see why judges were giving Canelo rounds that I was giving Saunders. What did it end? Like the beginning of the 9th, it was probably full 8 rounds. I probably had it like 5-3 Saunders. And it's no knock on the judges, but I don't know what the judges were seeing, because Canelo won on all the scorecards. And it was like Lara said before this fight, if you're going to win on the scorecards, it has to be decisive. Otherwise, those judges will screw you over. And I think these judges had their minds made up that Canelo was winning this fight. They were probably playing on Instagram or something. Maybe they were watching Brews and Boxing. Who knows? But I had Saunders winning the fight through 8 rounds. I'll leave my thoughts there. You can come back to me if we talk rematches and where guys go moving forward.
I'll definitely come back to you in a minute. But as you could tell, our very own judge, if you watch that post show when he was really drunk, he's drinking beer. He's supposed to be drinking water right now. No, that's water. That's his water.
Is that water?
That's his Brews and Boxing
water. Yeah. You can mute me.
I wouldn't mute you for that. You saw his inebriated version on that show of, "I'm a judge. I know. BGS won almost every round." Blah, blah, blah. He was going ballistic about it. I disagreed with him, but Judge, I'm going to let you talk a little more sober-like now about why you thought BJS was winning, or if you want to change your mind on that.
I don't need to change my mind.
Fine.
I stand by what I said. I'm a man of my. I'm an honor man. All right. Look, I'm same as Rich, man. It was like 5-3, maybe 4-4. Could have had it a draw at that point, but the shots, like I said, post show, the shots I saw landing were more effective for BJS. At that point, it was just Canelo just had the one shot when BJS leaned into it. It just is a bummer. It was a perfect shot by Canelo, and that's probably why he's so dominant right now, because he does that to a lot of people. Definitely feints people in doing stuff after he figures out your game plan. So yeah, I still stand by what I said, 100%. But yeah, we'll see, man. I don't think there's ever going to be a rematch, because BJS probably going to be out for a while with that. What, literally four spots?
Yeah, if you saw the picture
Oh.
during the match, his face was literally caved in. It was bad.
Yeah, what I'm saying, the actual doctors was literally all four spots broke in, and then they
you
had
could see it was actually indented on his face too.
You can't see his skull through his face, Raider.
No, but you could see his face
you could
was
see
indented.
the X-ray, which is why we're talking about the X-ray. Quit interrupting me. You talk all the time. Oh my God. Anyway, you can go ahead and mute me and pass it to Bach. I'm done.
Angry.
He's done with you.
Oh, we haven't had that in a while. Well, me and Bach are going to tell you guys why you're wrong now, because we both have that as a Canelo fight. Canelo was setting up that uppercut that ended the fight like for rounds. He kept trying to land that uppercut, and he missed a few times. As soon as he hit it, Bach, his face shattered like Amir Khan's face.
He was. Oh,
nobody. Come on. Jim gets mad when we can't dance to Amir Khan. Come on, that's when you.
I don't dance to Amir Khan, Raider. Why don't you pass it to
That's
Bach?
when we set you up, is because we put the dancing girls around you. You know.
I talked to James that night, and honestly, I rewatched the fight, and I still had BJS up on points.
See, Bach, this is why you're going to unmute me. No, you always just sit there and act like, oh yeah, I agree with you, Raider, all the time, and then as soon as we get on the show, no, Raider, I never said that. I went back and I told him this. I never said that. That just the same like you were about Areola. Oh yeah, I never said that about Areola. He's not gonna win that fight.
Let's not get too salty. These are sober thoughts, all right? You drunk bastards.
Yeah. Hey, sober. Hold on, let me have a sip of water.
All right, you're off mute.
No. Okay, I did have BJ, but he was setting up that uppercut the whole time. He's been looking for it the whole fight. I do remember that, and I still stick by that. But point-wise, if I was a judge scoring it, I would have BJS up on points at that moment.
See, I thought Canelo's punches were a lot more effective, a lot more bruising, and Canelo's always been, he's gonna be like, he's gonna always take that first round off and download you, try to figure it out. He didn't throw many punches that first round, but once he figured out he could counter punch, and I'll tell you this, every one of his counter punches hurt BJS. They were stinging, they were hurting, especially when you go to the body. BJS was feeling that stuff. BJS, landed some good punches, but I don't think he ever hurt Canelo. Canelo definitely was hurting BJS with a lot of those. Go ahead, your hand was raised. What?
BJS can handle a good punch, honestly. Like he dealt with some good shots from Canelo to the body and the head before the face broke away. It wasn't his fault his face broke, and guess what? He didn't get knocked down from it either. It's just his facial structure just gave way.
True, but I also give credit to Canelo too. He knew when he did it too. I mean, he kind of danced away from him the rest of that round a little bit, and he went to the corner and said, "I broke his eye. He's done. He's not coming out." Like he knew it. He could have ended it. He might have ended his career anyway, but he could have really ended his career if he wanted to, But Filthy Rich, you've been quiet here as we all argue, and you're always kind of that silent mediator of all of us. So why don't you tell me why I'm wrong?
I can't really do that.
Sweet.
Raider, you're right often. I hate you for it, but you're right pretty often. I do need to mention for anyone subscribing here, I am not a Canelo hater. I don't think any of us are Canelo haters. We just try to call it the way we see it. It's not always going to go with the flow of the ocean, or you guys can pick a good metaphor, but I could see why Canelo's winning on the score or winning on some scorecards. I get it. obviously 3 of us had Saunders up on the scorecards, but I will say I think it was just a matter of time before Canelo starts winning rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12. Canelo was gonna win this fight, even if it went to decision. He wasn't gonna let it happen, but if it did happen, I could see Canelo winning the next 4 rounds of that fight. I just wanted to mention that.
Well, Canelo was never really in trouble either. He never really got hurt. BJS was definitely in trouble a few times. There's a few times like, whoa, he better get away. That ring may not even be big enough at 28 feet or where the hell they had that thing at. That was the biggest ring I've ever seen in my life. But
22.
Yeah. Jim, you got any final thoughts on that BJS fight, sobering thoughts?
I think we've beaten this to the ground. It's time to move on.
All right. Well,
hang on. I do want to hear our judges' thoughts on Andrade before we move on.
Oh yes,
Oh,
I do want
yeah.
to hear that too. Oh, I forgot. Thank you for doing that. That was an amazing
that's what
thing. I want to
Richie-
hear about Judge too.
Sober thoughts. Richie's got this.
No, it's Judge's got this. I'll host it. You shut up. I got you on mute again. Man, I'm
All right.
on mute a lot.
All right, yeah. So I did. That was probably one of the funnest parts that I saw afterwards was the press conference with Canelo Alvarez, where Boo Boo Andrade decided to crash it, and pretty much told Canelo like, "Hey, you beat him now. Like, come fight me. Let's go fight." And Canelo spoke probably the second most English I've ever heard him spoke in my life.
He spoke great too.
And told him that he is a horrible fighter. You are nothing. Who have you fought? Nothing. No one. You are horrible. Get
You're boring.
out of here. Get out of here. You just want payday. No payday for you. And he would sit there and laugh. And he was laughing in his face. Like, it was pretty, to be honest, pretty disrespectful. But, you know, did Boo Boo need to come in and do that? Probably not. So you got disrespect on both sides. But man, that was interesting. But I've never heard Canelo speak so much English in my entire life. And I've never heard him straight trash talk like that. It is this year, Canelo is definitely no filter.
He's gaining personality.
He was called. He's just getting brutally honest, and I don't think he cares about his image as much as he did before. But I don't know, man. That was crazy. Thank you for bringing that up, Rich. I completely spaced on that, and that was, if you get a chance to watch it, it's like 5 minutes. You're gonna laugh. It's pretty funny.
It was hilarious. I was loving that one. And I'm sorry, Boo Boo ain't going to get a fight. And it's weird that Boo Boo tried to say that after coming off looking terrible in his last fight. But, you know, we talked about Boo Boo enough about that kind of stuff. So, speaking of future, well, not Boo Boo, but speaking of future fights, let's go to Brews and Previews. Brews and Previews, where we talk about an upcoming fight. And this Saturday, we have a good one. We got Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez. Bach, you and me have already talked about this fight. You got me to bet some money on Jose Ramirez at 2-1. For those that like gambling, that's the bottom half of this group here, like some gambling. I am with you on it. I wasn't originally. I'm a Josh Taylor fan, but you talked me out of it. So why don't you talk our fans out of out of Josh Taylor and why Jose Ramirez is going to win this fight?
They got kind of similar resumes. There's a lot of big names on the resumes. They've all won. I've only seen a couple Taylor fights. I've seen a lot of Ramirez fights. I think this fight's going to come down to pure will and heart and who wants it more. I don't even think it's going to be about skill, because I have a feeling that's going to turn into a head and chest kind of fight and slugging it out and see who's got a better chin and who's got a better punch. And I think Ramirez is that guy. I think his upbringing was far harder. He's got more to prove in life. And it's going to be a battle of wills. And Ramirez has got the stronger one.
All right. Well, let me throw a hand raised up there. Which one of you guys has Josh Taylor in this fight? Either of you? Raise your hand if you do. All right. We'll go to Rich then as the rebuttal to Seabach, why Seabach is wrong and I'm going to lose money yet again.
Look, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I don't remember when Taylor fought Prograis, but I had Prograis ranked #1 in this division. And Taylor beat Prograis. When it comes down to that body of work, Taylor beat the better guy, and it was close. And I could see why people think Prograis won that fight. I think Josh Taylor beat the best guy in the division. That is why I have Taylor winning this fight. That is it. It wouldn't surprise me if Ramirez wins this fight, but I'm not the gambler the two of you are.
Well, Judge, you heard both their arguments. Why don't you make a judge's decision on who's going to win this fight?
Look, man, I'll tell
Based
you
on
right
their argument.
now, Raider, me and you have already talked about this. Last time Ramirez fight, we watched it. Victor
Yeah.
Postol.
Yeah.
We both said Victor Postol won that fight.
Yeah.
If you can't beat Victor Postol convincingly, that's not good for you.
No.
Especially being being Jose Ramirez and what you are. Now, this is what I'm going to say is this. Because Taylor is the southpaw. Ramirez is orthodox. And Ramirez has the Mexican style, the head first, the go forward style, right? What Taylor has and what he's going to have and what I've seen him do is the quick left. And I've seen Ramirez extend his jab and his punches too much and leave that side open, where Taylor, all he needs to do is just keep doing that. Even if you don't think he has the power to knock him out, you do that effectively over 12 rounds. By the 10th, the championship rounds come around, that's going to be dangerous. We've seen it with against Dubois. We've seen it with many a fighter, man. Many a fighter. You see that
It's Postol.
Fight. This is just the constant spot, and I think that is the biggest glaring defect in Ramirez's game, is the fact that he overextends his punches when he's coming through, and if he misses or doesn't connect cleanly, Taylor is going to have that left hook, uppercut, whatever you want to pause on that one, whatever, a power shot, and he can just keep connecting. It's going to hit him right here. And Ramirez better have a real solid face, because he's just going to lean right into that, man. So this one's tough to call. Ramirez has the advantage for what do you call it? Nonstop throwing,
Right.
unstoppable
Constant
punches.
pace. Yep.
But I think Taylor is a better counterpuncher, and because of their different stances, that Taylor probably has the better chance to win. But I don't like saying that he's going to win.
All right. Well, we'll go to predictions right now. Seaback, what's your prediction and outcome?
I'm going to say late round stoppage by Ramirez, probably round 11 or 12.
Okay. Rich?
Taking Taylor in 10.
James?
Oh man, I'll probably. Wow, man, I'll probably take. I'll Taylor by decision.
See, James, you had convinced me that I was about to sell my bet back to Seaback there and see if you wanted to buy my bet, because I liked everything you said. And I forgot about that Victor Postol fight where he definitely lost that fight. I mean, that was when we watched in the backyard, right? My backyard.
That is correct.
And that was it. And we did that one live too. And we said that Postol won that fight. He was a 4-1 underdog that fight. But since I got money on it and he's a Mexican style fighter and those guys are always the toughest, I'll say Ramirez is going to win on points, just on pure punch volume, but he's probably going to get hurt a few times, but he's just going to keep moving forward. That's basically what I'm going to go with. So it's going to be a good fight. So make sure you tune on. Which network is that? Is that on DAZN this week?
ESPN Plus.
ESPN fight. Okay, even better. So we all have ESPN, the Plus. It's not on the Ocho, it's on the Plus. So make sure you're on.
No, it's on regular ESPN.
Is it on regular
I thought
ESPN? Even better.
Are you sure?
And
And
I think
Plus.
it's on both. I believe it's on
Yeah.
both. It's
Yeah.
definitely on ESPN.
Well, there you go. If you got either one of them, you're good to go. I only have the Plus, so we're good to go. All right, let's move. It's the third week of the month, which means it's Brews and Tributes time. So let's hit that bell. Brews and Tributes, third week of every month. We tribute a boxer, current or past, and this week is a good one. Roberto Duran is the man of the hour this month. And Bach, I'm going to let you go with a lot of these stories, because I was in shock that you actually read a book. And in pre-show, you talked about that you read a book ahead of these stories. So obviously you don't know what the page numbers are, but you know what the book is. So go ahead and tell me some things about Roberto Duran that our audience may not know about.
Well, I mean, he's been around forever. Let's just say Roberto Duran's one of the greatest boxers of all time. I got a book here written by one of the greatest boxing historians and knowledgeable men that ever walked the face of this earth in the history of boxing, Mr. Burt Randolph Sugar. Out of 100 boxers, any weight division, Mr. Randolph Sugar put him at number 8. That is very good. Like, it's crazy. So I'm just gonna. We all know him as there's a certain name, but I'm gonna say Manos de Piedra, the hands of stone.
Yeah.
He was a seek and destroy fighter. Put his head in the chest,
Oh,
rip through the body, and tear the head off. Is what he did. He was a nasty customer. He wanted to hurt people in the ring, and you know what? It's called the hurt business for a reason. You're not supposed to be nice to your opponent. You're supposed to win, and he tried to do that every time he went out there. A little quick story. He was fighting a guy by the name of Ray Lampkin back in the day, and he put him down, knocked him out, and they were carting him off to the hospital. And they overheard Roberto Duran say, "The next time we fight, I send him to the morgue." Because he had that kind of mentality to him. He grew up rough streets of Panama. I mean, there was no BS about this man. If you can go on YouTube and watch some of his old fights, they're wonderful to watch. Like, very entertaining.
Well,
and I guess the only other little tidbit I got that's kind of fun is he was a sparring partner for Mr. Rocky Balboa in Rocky 2 to help him get ready for Apollo Creed in the rematch.
And he was too slow.
Yeah, you got to catch that little squirt, I believe what the quote was.
And he actually did a lot of the fight work for behind the scenes and taught them like how to he was also doing that kind of work. But yeah, he was actually starring in the movie as the little speedball and Rocky 2.
And Sylvester Stallone has come out to say that they did spar for real, just for fun. And Sly basically said, "I'd never been beat up that bad."
Yeah. Well, another great thing too, you're talking about the days like present day where people don't want to fight and it takes forever to get a fight going. He fought 119 times over, what was it, 6 decades? Is that what it was? 5 decades or something like that? 5 decades? Ridiculous. He had a win in every in 5 straight decades. That's just an unbelievable stat. He would fight multiple times a year. Judge, I want to throw it to you. I know you got some stories about Roberto Duran, El Cholo.
Oh yeah, I mean, I touch base on a couple of things here. So he's obviously, no one's touched base on his record yet. He was 103-16. He had 70 knockouts, right? He started his career 31-0, and then lost, and then before his second loss, ended up 72-1 with 56 knockouts. So that's pretty good to start your professional career. I mean, he started when he was 16 years old. This was when he became a professional, which is insane. That's the same age, I think, as Canelo.
15 at Canelo.
15 for Canelo. So pretty darn cool. Also, I got to give props to Burt Sugar because on my all-time pound-for-pound list, I also had Roberto Duran as number 8. So hey, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that fact, Fox. So thanks for the knowledge bomb. Other than that, I mean, he fought really big names. Sugar Ray Leonard 3 times, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Tommy the Hitman Hearns, Wilfred Benitez, Vinny Paz, Hector Camacho. And this was all in the era of 15-round fights. So some of these went the distance forever. So this is just like Bach was saying, a fantastic fighter. Definitely hard. Definitely hard as nails. One thing I did want to touch on, was just kind of interesting, that I found out, was that there's also another professional boxer by the name of Paul Thorne, who ended up being a country music singer, and he put Duran in his song because of something that that Duran said to him during one of his fights, and he said, because he did get knocked out in the fight, obviously. And Paul Thorne asked him, "Hey, why did you have to knock me out in this fight?" And he goes, Duran just says, "Well, I'd rather be a hammer than a nail." So, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's the name of the song too. So obviously, he's, making some money off that stuff. But I mean, it's Roberto Duran, I think, is, at least in my opinion, top 10 all-time fighter. 5 decades. He did retire 4 times. He kept coming back, but man, this is definitely someone if you can watch him fight, go watch him fight. One of the best that I've personally seen.
Well, he's basically, if you look up warrior in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of Roberto Duran. That guy is a warrior. He's unbelievable, and he just beat COVID too. So I mean, that's also good too. Filthy Rich, I know you got a lot of good stories about Roberto Duran. Why don't you give us one or two of them as well?
I do want to mention, I know James went through a few names. William Joppy was also a name he fought towards the end of his career.
In '98,
Joppy was quoted as saying, "I'm not letting a 47-year-old beat me up." I mean, kind of a quote, but he was 47 years old when he fought William Joppy. And yeah, Joppy beat him. But like towards the end of his career there, he had like all those big names James mentioned, not the ones in the 80s, but like the Vinny Paz's and Macho Camacho. I mean, those guys all beat him, but those guys are like Hall of Fame fighters right there who beat up an old man. So this dude took on all comers again, retired 4 times because he loved fighting. But we didn't talk about what a giving guy this guy was. I mean, he was like the antithesis of himself, a killer in the ring, but gave away all of his money. Even after one of his last fights, his daughter got a fight. Maybe it was his son got a phone call. Hey, you need to stop. You need to stop Roberto. He's giving all his money away. And no one wanted to stop him because that's the kind of guy he was. There was a story about he was at an airport coming back, probably from the United States, going into Panama, where he was from. And someone told him, "I really like your shirt." The guy took the shirt off, and took the shirt off, gave it to the guy who said like the shirt. But this is like something that has happened often. There were multiple times where it was like reported that Roberto Duran is here at the airport without a shirt on. He was that kind of guy. He gave his shirt off his back just because he grew up so poor. He did not want anyone to go poor. I think there was a story about he gave 10 kids like $75 a week, maybe not his entire career, but wanted to make sure that these poor kids had something to eat and little stuff like that. There was also the story of one of his, I don't know if we're going to call it a rival. I can't remember who his first loss was to, but I think it was to this guy. I think his name was De Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. So De Jesus.
Esteban de Jesus.
Yeah, I believe De Jesus. I believe it was this guy. I don't want to mess this one up. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think it was after the rematch when he beat De Jesus. De Jesus had HIV, and he went in and gave him a big hug. And we know how the story ends with HIV in the 80s. De Jesus died 2 months after that big hug. But I do want to mention, on a happier note, there was a commercial. I believe it was after the first Sugar Ray Leonard fight. It was a 7-Up commercial, and Ray Leonard was a bit suspicious about this commercial, saying if Duran tries anything, I am out. And it was Duran's kid and Leonard's kid, and Leonard was in there training his son or whatever, and Roberto Duran shows up with a 6-pack of 7-Up with a cheesy 7-Up song. Watch this commercial just for that song. And when it was all said and done, Ray Leonard was like, I couldn't believe this person who I was with. He was so generous, gave his kids a kiss and all that good stuff. It was nothing like Leonard expected. That this Duran guy's a good guy. So,
well, we'll end it with 2 quotes from Duran here. One of them is, "Getting hit motivates me. It makes me punish the guy more. A fighter takes a punch and hits back with 3 punches." And then on top of that, well, there's 2 more. "I'm not God, but I'm something similar." And then, "I was born to be champion of the world." So let's toast, Brews and Boxing toast to the one, the only Roberto Duran. one of the best of all time. Definitely in the top 10 of all time, pound for pounds for sure. And a good person too. We toast you.
He was number 6 on our list, and people never get the flowers while they can still smell them. So I'm glad we got to do this while he's still alive at 69 years old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I have a feeling he's going to be alive a long time too. He said, I'm a fighter. I will never die in the ring, but I will die as an old man in my bed. That's what he said. That was another quote. All right, Filthy Rich, why don't you bring us on home?
Just want to say, at a coworker who's all gone, we all know who you are, Ryan. Thank you for all your help and all your hard work. More importantly, and most importantly, thank you for your friendship. I'll drink to you.
We'll all drink to you. Family of you is family of us.
I'm out of beer.
What do you mean? I gave you all that free beer. Well, you took that free beer. You forgot about it. Classic free beer. James, if they're listening to us, where can they watch us? And if they're watching to us, where can they listen to us?
Watching us,
Yeah.
listen to us at any major podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. If you are listening to us and you want to watch us and see Matt in his cool headphones, you can go to YouTube.com/Brews and Boxing.
Some little other things, the little housekeeping notes to touch on. We did hit 500 podcast downloads, so that was a nice little achievement that we hit. And we gained a bunch of subscribers on our YouTube page, so that's also a good thing to hit. And we got some fun plans coming up here in the future, so I can't wait for that. So it'll be a fun little thing to check out. We're back here after taking our little mini vacation. Next week is the last month. I can't remember what we're going to do next week. What are we doing next week? I forgot.
Tune in next week and you'll find out.
Oh, well.
Boom!
Maybe I'll find out. I bet you I'll find out too. All right. For Seabach, Judge Jimmy James, and Filthy Rich, I am Raider Live. Thank you all for joining us. Go wild. And we will see you guys tomorrow night next week.